Okay. Woo! Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to the Victoria Reeves Show, where we have conversations on creativity with visionaries from many different genres. I am Victoria Reeves. I am a writer and career coach, and I help people blend their passion, their purpose, their profits, what? And their profession. It's a super exciting. Do what you love, the money will follow. In each episode, we meet very gifted creatives who are crushing it in their fields, okay? And we pull back the curtain to learn how they got started and discuss their process, their challenges, their victories, and their vision. So, everybody, let's give a super warm welcome to today's guest, the one and only Faith O'Connor. Ow!
Hi.
Hi, how are ya?
Good. Doing good.
You're doing good? All right. Fantastic. I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too.
Please. Okay, so to begin, please just tell our listeners who you are and what you do.
I am a crochet artist
Uh-huh.
and I design my favorite thing to make is Afghans. But I
Yes.
also design home decor, beanies, and I also just came out with a choker, this choker that I'm wearing.
Which she's great. In fact, you know what? You're jumping ahead, but I love it. So I want you to list all the stuff that you make. That's one of my questions. Let's just do it
Okay.
now because it's so
All
fun.
right.
Yeah.
I love to make anything, usually home decor or things that are usable. So I make these market bags too. Oh, my camera moves, but I have these market bags that I make
Okay.
and pillows. And then I
Keep going.
started making patterns for how to show people how to make the designs that I come up with.
Yeah.
So for fellow crocheters.
Yes. Yes. And let's see. Beanies, chokers, halter tops. Is that what you call them?
Yeah, yep. And last winter I made a series of masks for the
Yeah.
winter.
Yes. Afghans, pillows. What's
Mhm.
all the home decor stuff? So many things.
Sometimes I'll make just little decorations, like I'll make pumpkins for Halloween.
Yeah.
Anything I really want to play with that I can decorate the house with, or
Oh,
sometimes wear.
do you make rugs?
I did at one point make rugs. Rugs are difficult to make because the yarn usually needs to be cotton or jute,
Oh,
which I find harder to work with.
yeah.
So if I'm really doing what I love to work with a really soft yarn usually.
Got you. Got you. And what else? Oh, the market bags. Hello.
Yeah, market bags. I love those. I just sold a bunch of those that I had pre-made already at a little market. And a lot of people noted that they're very California because it wasn't something they had really seen here. But, if you're thinking sustainability, reusable bags, I love to use market bags for shopping so that you don't
Absolutely.
have to use a plastic bag.
I know. I know. And they look cool for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so oh my gosh, I'm super excited that you're here. I'm just like I have a billion questions. Okay, so for example, as a coach, I am super fascinated with people's origin stories, right? As you know, and there is a train of thought that says that like who we are is already like determined when we're little, and part of our homework and our personal development as humans is to like bring back our inner child and incorporate him or her into what we're doing now, on the planet, which is totally what I do with people, and I love it. So, tell us when you were little, like what was it that you absolutely loved to do?
When I was little, I loved to draw and color and also play act with my sister. And my dad would call me the little artist. So it's funny that you say find your inner child because ever since I was little, I have been the little artist of the family.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And so
And
what? So you draw? You used to draw.
I used to draw, yep. And then I got into like pencil drawings and my dad gave me this little drawing journal and I would just fill it with random drawings like of mythical creatures and any sort of fantasy I could think of. And then when I was 18, I moved to San Diego with my sister just on our own. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just like, I want to live in San Diego. Now I'm here. What do I do? And I decided to try to do art as a career. So I went to school for graphic design in San
Right.
Diego. And
Right.
so that's what my degree was in. I got a degree in graphic design. But while I was in school, you create your portfolio. And I had always been drawn to fashion. So all of my designs in my graphic design portfolio was like fashion oriented. So when I got out of college and I was applying for jobs, I randomly sort of got picked up by this company who designed handbags and backpacks and headwear and belts and wallets. And they were like, we were looking for a graphic designer, but you like fashion. So they taught me how to design bags and handbags and backpacks and things like that. So a lot of my professional career was doing that. It's called accessories in the retail industry,
Yeah.
everything but clothing. And so, yeah, for many years I was doing that. I would even travel to China or other overseas countries to oversee the production, like mass production and development, and learn how zippers are made, like learn how different fabrications are done and how molds are made if things are like a hard piece of luggage. And that was so cool.
I mean, so cool, and I love it. And so your title, let me just go back for 2 seconds because here's one thing I realized in preparation for today's discussion is that part of my mission for this show is to really like teach people and the listeners, hi listening audience, like about different careers and like like how people connected the dots, right? Especially because I was really thinking about this, like mentorship and what is it called when you have like an apprenticeship, right? Like back in the day, right? When we had an apprenticeship or maybe an internship, but like I kind of feel like this is a dying art form and that like I just really want us to be able to us collectively, like me and all the guests and you and all of us, to teach people like how did this start, right? So here's little you're drawing, you're filling up these books. I love this vision. You move with your sister, you're like, dude, I'm going to study graphic design. You get your degree with that, and then someone finds you, which that's just magical, and then they train you to be because your title was product designer. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was a product designer, and then um, that company was great.
Yeah.
They moved me up in the ranks. I think when I left there, I was director of product.
Get out.
Um, they just really kept trusting me with responsibility and things like that. And then
Exactly.
and now, just I think at the end of 2019, I had a big shift in my whole life where I left California and moved
Right.
back to Illinois to be close to family and sort of had to reevaluate everything because they didn't have my type of design as ready here as far as like I would need to work at a brand headquarters where the initial designs are being made.
Okay.
And I didn't realize, in Chicago, there's not many brand headquarters. They're
Oh,
mostly in California or New York. But I was still applying for those just to do remote work. And this is where I found you, actually. I was looking for you to help me stand out because when I would find them in Chicago, there would be like 300 applicants
right.
and I was having a really hard time. So I like did some Google. I think I talked to you. I talked to one other woman. And I was like, wow, I really connected with Victoria.
You're like, let her help me write my resume. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly.
And when we were talking, I think you brought out like my joys and passions, and one of
Right.
them had become crochet.
Right.
And we were like, hey, let's explore this more. This is kind of a hidden talent that I have that I love doing.
Yes.
And uh, actually didn't necessarily love making art and design a job. I loved doing crochet where it was like on my terms. And
Right.
so, yeah, you and I started exploring that. And
Right.
now we're here where I spend every minute I can working on my small business, my small crochet business.
Exactly, which we are so going to delve into. Like, we're just going to delve into it and talk about all of the like all the ways, and I was really thinking about this today. Like, okay, so product designer. So we've got, obviously design, we've got manufacturing, we've got, sales, we've got pricing, we've got distribution. We have all of these like business skills, right? And then
Mhm.
we have all these creative skills, and it's like the harmonic convergence of all of that you did before that you now are moving into, let's say your business, Love Faith Homemade,
Uh-huh.
which is so cool. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, in a way, you're basically like playing both sides of the field because you're creating the product and you're selling it, right?
Yes, and that's what I love about it. It's like
Yeah,
I get to make it. I don't
right.
have to, oversee someone else, and it's like I get to make it with my own two hands, and I love it. And you're
Yeah,
so right that I learned so much in my industry as far as like sourcing, pricing, target audience, all of that. And
right.
sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. It's just like second nature. Like, well, I need to buy this. If I find this material, I should buy it in bulk, and then I'll figure out like how many hours it takes to make it. You know what I mean? Just these thoughts run through my head without even me thinking about it. And then sometimes I'm like, nope, not gonna go down that alley. Gonna find a more efficient way of doing it.
Right. Right. Well, and I remember our earlier conversation when you were talking about the chokers and how you like set up this little assembly line and you were doing the fixtures. And I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect. It's like you're like this mini factory. You're like this one woman factory in your studio.
Totally. Yeah. I was just thinking about that this morning. What, especially with the chokers. And last winter, I made these masks. I'll show you real
Oh,
quick.
yeah, tell us.
I made these masks,
Oh my
and
God.
so they're crochet, but I also hand sewed in this organic cotton liner,
Wow.
just in case people are allergic to fabrics. And they also have a little pouch where you can put in if you want to add an extra filter.
Right.
So the assembly line started with the crochet, and the crochet part was the easiest part for me. And then
Yeah.
I had like the cotton laid out ready to be cut because each one needed to be cut perfectly to each piece. And then, these little things, and then where I would hand sew it, and the scissors and everything. And I remember having this little assembly line, and someone came over and they're like, yeah, you're like a one woman factory. I was like, I am,
Yes.
and I love it.
I am. I am. No, and I love that. And I do have to say very briefly that, and by the way, hi everybody that's watching. We've got a bunch of folks. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will share them with Faith, who has a lot of wisdom to share. If you are, by the way, welcome to the Victoria Reeves Show. And if you are a creative entrepreneur, you're new on this path, you have any questions about that, whatever, crochet, like creativity, balancing all this stuff, pop in your question. We'd love to answer it. Yes. So my next sort of question slash topic is literally about this, which is like discipline, right? And the stereotype, and you and I've discussed this a billion times. The stereotype of like creatives, like we're all staring at our navel and looking out the window and like, I don't know, whatever. But in actuality, like if you're a creative entrepreneur, you have to be super structured and super disciplined because nobody knows if you're making those chokers or not, right? Like it's your jam. And if you go for 3 weeks and don't work on whatever piece it is, it's really your own, it's really just your own self. So how do you stay structured and disciplined, and what are some of the sort of tips and tricks that you've learned along the way about that?
For me, writing things down is really important the minute you think of it. And I think you and I have to discuss this too. Like I
Yeah.
carry a little notebook because I'm like, if I have an idea that I feel really passionate about, I want to write it down. And then when I have like a few minutes throughout the day, again, I'll write down the goals within that idea. And
Yeah.
that just really helps to keep me focused because, the idea is so great. And as a creative, you could just walk around fantasizing about this idea all day, but you kind of need to break it down into how do I get to that idea? And like, what steps do I need to take? And even down to micro steps. And I don't want to like overwhelm anyone with micro steps right now, but micro steps to me are so important because if I have a full day of other things where I can't focus on my creative thing,
Right.
um, I'll at least be able to look on my phone and do some research on a new fabric or a new stitch that I want to try. And that to me is a micro step that is like getting me closer to that goal that I had written down.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think also if you're passionate about something and excited about it, which is what you want to be, you do want to keep moving towards making that happen. So
Yes.
yeah, for me, it's like, and sometimes I do make myself a schedule. Wednesdays and Thursdays are really focused on my creativity. So
Okay.
sometimes I'll have to write down like, 8 a.m., do this, 10 p.m., do this, from here to here, free time. And sometimes the free time gets magical and you still want to keep working on what you're working on. So I think
Right.
for me too, it's like having that freedom and knowing it's up to me also keeps me motivated, because when I used to work in an office and I was doing it for someone else or for a customer, that almost made me less motivated. It just felt like work.
Right.
Whereas now that I'm doing it for myself and to share with other people, it keeps me motivated more. I love doing it. So yeah, I'd say for people who are trying to stay motivated, just do a little every day if you can, because every little bit you do gets you closer to finishing it and getting to your goal.
I love that. And I love that you brought up like the micro steps or the micro movements. And this is something
Mhm.
that I talk about like one-on-one with my clients and also in the Creative Tribe Dojo classes, of which you have taken many e-workshops. And so, the idea for folks that don't know of a micro movement is like, think of something that you could do. We've even done this in class, right? Just like make a list of maybe 5 to 10 minute activities that you can do to move towards your goal. It's so powerful. And I love how you said, like, even, researching the yarns, right? Or, brainstorming an idea for a new name or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like, I think that many of us were under this misconception of like, I have to wait for the stars to align in my like creative vision to be like, oh, and then I can sit down and work on which, newsflash, like if you're waiting for that, it's probably never going to happen. Or it's going to happen when you start doing these micro movements, you know,
Totally.
and then you're just like, boom, and ideas start popping off. Am I right?
Mhm. Totally, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes, like for me, when I do a micro movement and ideas start popping off, I almost get like overwhelmed, like, okay, which idea do I go with? Because I'm excited about all of these. And
Right.
again, that's when it's good for me to write it down, write them all down, and
Yeah.
then kind of maybe come back to it later and be like, which ones am I really drawn to here? Which ones do I think I'll really get to do?
Yeah.
And which ones are longer term goals, and then yeah, go from there.
Love it. And and also writing down is so important. I mean, I'm a freak. I have like post-it notes and I have like those big, post-it notes like I don't have enough wall space left now because I've got the big ones like all over my living room, my dining room. But really like getting it out of our mind and into like concrete whatever, physical reality, it's all reality, but it really does it, and then we don't just like lose it like, oh, that was a cool thought, but what happened to it, right? We could circle
Right.
back.
Yeah, you don't want
Love
to forget some of the things. So yeah, I'm a big believer in writing it down. Me too. I'm all notebooks. I got notebooks everywhere.
You're like, if you could see my house, there's notebooks
Yeah.
everywhere.
I
I
try
love
to
it.
stay organized. I'm like, this notebook is for business. This one's like for personal, but
Yeah,
it overlaps sometimes.
I know. Well, because business and personal, hilarious.
Yeah.
You're a creative entrepreneur. There is no, it's a 24/7 gig.
Totally.
Okay, so at this point, I would love for us to see one of your pieces and the pattern that you designed for the piece. So while you're gathering that, I'll tell folks what we're doing. So Faith has started this amazing, well, I think it's pretty amazing, this amazing practice of actually making the patterns available on her Etsy page for the pieces that she has designed. So if you're like, oh my God, I love that pillow, I want to make that pillow or whatever, then you could buy the pattern if you know how to crochet, and then you could step by step do it. So she's going to show us a pattern first, right? And then walk us through.
Okay, so here's the pattern.
Okay, hold it back a little bit towards your body. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And I want to show real quick the second page because crochet patterns have their own language. And this is a shorthand version I made for crocheters who are watching, but
Right.
I also made a longhand version. So I do two different kind of versions of the language. There's a shorthand and there's a longhand.
And can you just read us like one line just for fun?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's learn.
Chain 1, single crochet 11, bobble 1, single crochet 19, bobble 1, single crochet 11, chain 1. Turn.
I love it. So I'm a crocheter. I want to buy this. I go to your Etsy page. How
Mhm.
does that work?
So these will be downloadable PDFs,
Yes.
and uh, depending if you want the shorthand version, which is the one I just described, you would just click on it, you purchase it, and then there will be a download button almost immediately. And then you
Cool.
can download the PDF, you can print it, you can keep it on your screen or whatever you want.
Okay.
And yeah, then it's yours. You can make it.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the big
Okay.
reveal.
And this was where it
Oh,
all began.
girl. So explain this to us.
Okay, so
So cool.
I used to make these bobble pillows, and I wanted to update it. So I made first. It started with a sketch where I wanted to cluster the bobbles into diamonds, and then I also learning from the past bobble pillows I made. People were asking for a zipper on it so that you could take it off and wash it.
Wash it. Yeah, yeah.
And so I learned how to do this. I think I watched a tutorial about a woman making a crocheted purse, and
Yeah.
she was crocheting a zipper into it. So that's how I kind of took that and did my own way of doing it for the pillow. So in the pattern, I kind of teach how to add a zipper to your project,
Wow.
the way, I do it anyway. But yeah, so I did a little series of videos from sketch to finished product on my TikTok, just
Yep.
showing people my journey, because you do sometimes make mistakes. You got to start over, and maybe the pattern didn't work that I drew and I had to make adjustments. So that was fun too, just sharing my journey of making this. And
Yeah.
then after it was all done and how I wanted it, I sat down and typed me up a couple patterns for it and put it on my.
Okay. Right. So, like, you did it yourself, you made mistakes, love it. This is the creative process 101, right?
Yeah.
Experimentation.
Yeah.
And then, like, this worked, this didn't work, and revise. And then you wrote it out. Well, then you
Mhm.
made it, and then you wrote it out, or maybe half and half the whole time.
And I should say, as I was making this, I
Yeah.
was writing down, handwriting like notes on how to make it, so that when I sat down to type up the pattern,
Sure.
I could go back and do it. And then as I was typing up the pattern, I made a new one so that I could show pictures of where the person making it should be in their progress.
Wow. That is so cool. Okay. Okay. We can visualize that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, can we see you? Yeah, we can. Okay. Okay. So I mean, it's probably hard to say exactly, but like approximately how long does it take to make a bobble pillow like that?
Let's see. That would probably take, I didn't keep track on that one, but I would say maybe like 12 to 24 hours.
Wow. And of course, not all at one time, because
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
a girl has to eat. Um,
Right. And from a business standpoint, I love the process of making the stuff,
right.
but I would see other crochet artists writing down instructions and creating patterns,
Yeah.
because then you can resell that pattern as many times as you want. So I have this PDF up on my Etsy shop, and if someone downloads it, someone else can download it and pay, for it the next day. So it's like, or the same day, whatever. I can basically resell that PDF as many times as I want.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from watching other crochet artists that I admire, and were blowing up their business. It's like, oh, okay, because it would take me, 12 to 24 hours to make a ton of pillows and sell each pillow.
Right.
I've already made this PDF once, and I can resell it several times.
Exactly. And I love that you're bringing that up, and this is such the topic in the world of, creative entrepreneurs that I swim in on the regular, and all these different podcasts and blogs about this is like, how do we create like 24-hour sustainable products that can exist when we're not there? I mean, even for me as a coach, right? I can only coach one person at a time, right? So it's like I'm working on a book right now, and by the way, and so like when my book is done, and it will hopefully, March 30th is my deadline that I gave myself, then it'll be on Amazon. It'll be 24 hours a day, right? So it's like, how can we create like products and even services in terms of people that are like teaching online, and creating 24-hour day content that you could download, or like Skillshare, if you think about Skillshare, where you can
Mhm.
learn how to do that. It's, and again, I'm going to circle back. Like, this is the really fascinating, I think, integration of sort of like business and creativity, and also the internet. Because forget about it, what, 40 years ago, your circle of influence, or the people that could even buy your products would be, in your neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
But now
absolutely.
your audience is the world, which, forget about it. I mean, that's
Totally.
so exciting.
And it's become fun. I think you helped me sort of put myself out there more on social media and make these process videos of like my journey making things. And it
Nice.
is really fun because part of the joy of crocheting for me is getting to share the final piece with someone and then loving it. That's like the best part, right?
Absolutely.
So now if someone's watching the process videos and they get to be a part of it, and then when it's finished they're invested and they're like, that is so cool. And
Yeah.
so I think it's fun for them too to see how the process works, like you said, like behind the curtain kind of. And
Right.
and they want to see like, how does she do this, and maybe they're thinking, if she can do that and she's showing me how she does it, maybe I can do it too. And then it's like spreading the
Exactly.
joy.
I mean, 100%. And also, people love the backstory. I mean, that's why I do this show, right? It's like people love the backstory. They want to know, like, how'd you get started? What's your inspiration? What are your blocks? Oh, let's go there. um,
uh,
yes. So okay, actually, I'm just ahead of myself here. I had these fabulous questions. So starting and marketing your own business while continually creating new work, which is what you're doing, I think is challenging and exciting, right? I imagine there's sort of a yin and the yang there. So,
yeah.
tell us about like the moving pieces that you're balancing as a creative and a businesswoman. So, like, what, maybe some of the moving pieces, and maybe some of the challenges that you've discovered in this couple year journey that you've been doing now.
Yeah, I would say I'll start with the challenge is the business side of it.
Okay.
So I know I have a list currently of things I need to do to like kind of restructure. Like I need to make a link tree, and I would love to separate my TikTok. I have like my TikTok now is like a personal and my crochet. I would love to make a crochet only.
Hmm.
So that's to me is work where I have to sit at a desk and do that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a huge block for me. Um, so I have to set aside time to do that, almost put it in my calendar. And then once I'm at my desk doing it, I'm like, you know what? I still love this stuff. It's not that hard. I just need to do it. And once I start doing it, it's like not a big deal.
Right. Right.
I think a block for me too is I do work part time. So on my days off, I would love to just watch movies all day, or, just hang out with friends and do whatever I want all day. So I started putting a list, or kind of almost like a vision board next to my bed, so that on the days I'm off, I set an alarm and I wake up and I look at those, and it reminds me like, that's what I want to do today, and like I at
Mhm.
least need to set aside some time to do that. And I saw this guy on the internet the other day where he was saying, if you're having trouble getting out of bed or having trouble like getting moving, take
Yeah.
out the trash. That's what he said. He said, take out the trash, take out the garbage. And
Nice.
it like kind of lights up your neurons or something. It just gets you moving and stuff. And it's such a simple thing, but that's almost like a philosophy where if I don't feel like getting up, just do something simple basically. And it does. It just, then you're like, well, I'm already up. Might as well do the things I had planned today.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Already
so yeah,
outside. Well, and are
Mhm.
you familiar with this term time boxing? I've been doing it forever and a day and didn't know that it was a thing. So it's called time boxing, and it's where you like give yourself a designated amount of time. So I found that with social media as a creative myself, that I could like fall down a rabbit hole and be like, oh, I'm gonna spend 10 hours like making this one post until it's completely perfect. Then I'm like, wait, the sun just went down. Like, what the heck am I doing?
Yes.
Right? Like it could get a little wacky, as anyone who
Yes.
does this knows. So now I give myself a time box, which is I literally set a timer on my phone for 30 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever this post looks like at 30 minutes, I'm
Cool.
releasing it. Girl, please try
I
it.
love
It's
that.
spectacular. But
I
it helps
should.
you too, because then you're just not like, oh, like I'm just gonna be doing this forever, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And they say, post to social media every day. And
Mm.
I struggle with that too, but I do think that's a great philosophy. I know people who, my friend is a trainer and
Oh
she
yeah.
posts every day. And when she doesn't, people notice now because she's been doing it so consistently. They're
Right.
like, "Hey, you didn't post today. What's going on?" So I
Well,
think it is important that if you're consistent on social media, I'm not great at it, but I'm trying. And what I have learned from you too is it doesn't have to be perfect. Just post something, be yourself, share
yeah.
something.
Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. I like to call it like conversations with the universe. It's like, hey, hi, here's me walking my dog. I don't have a dog. You do. But,
Yeah.
or what, like, it's just like, just showing up. Like, everything does not have to be like some epiphanal, like, realization about the meaning of life or like the most beautifully organized, like, photo shoot ever in the history of time. You
Yeah.
know, like, I
Mhm.
did this one. Well, you probably can't see it because I have the screen on. But this is, okay, whatever. This is a box of thread. Okay, like all these different colors of thread. And so one time I just took a photograph of that because I'm a doll maker myself and a crafts person in that respect. And I was like, this is prosperity to me. Like I have like 50 different colors of thread. And that was my post. You know?
Nice.
And all these
Yeah.
people were like, oh, that's so cool. I
Yeah.
mean, right?
It's always the ones you do quickly, you think no one's going to respond to, that you do. People are like, "That's cool," or "I do that too. I have a box like that too." What it starts a conversation.
I start the conversation. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I heard that you and your sister have a new business idea that you're launching.
Yes.
What? Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about it?
I will tell you a little bit.
Okay, if
We
you want
just
to.
talked about it yesterday, her and I, like our progress on it.
Okay.
So we are going to start making paint by numbers. And it is something that, the more I work on it, the more I think the launch date is going to have to move out because I'll be the designer and I haven't designed graphic design, which, is what I'll need to be doing in a while. I haven't been practicing as much the last couple of years.
Right.
So I am learning some new software. I got a new iPad that I can draw with. Now technology, you can just draw right on the iPad.
So fun. Oh,
And it's
so
kind of
fun.
narrowing down the designs. I want to start with children's designs, and then it's like, do I do animals? Do I do circus? Just kind of finding a theme, narrowing it down. And her and I, she's doing operations, so she's talking about. So she's figured out what the packaging will be, and then
Okay.
like sourcing the canvas and the paint and things like that. That's kind of her side of it. But yeah, we're both really excited about it. I just am doing a
Family
little each
business.
day, and it's just taken me some time to find my niche with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what happens with
I love it.
new.
I love it. I love it. And have you, and I, we didn't talk about this off camera here, but I mean, have you ever thought about doing like those adult, not like the adult coloring books that you see like when you walk into Barnes and Noble and they have like
Oh,
Mandela books and all that kind of stuff, or no?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's what initially inspired me to do it. I was inspired by adult coloring books.
they're so
Uh,
cool.
but when I sat down to do it, I was like, okay, since I'm kind of new at this,
Yeah,
children's designs will be easier for me to get started with. And also, there's a big market. Like, I live in a small town where there's lots of families. So they will definitely want stuff for their kids to do. So,
right.
yeah, I would love to graduate to adult designs after I do the children's designs.
And what do they call that? Like brand ambassadors, like when you get kids when they're little and then they're like, buying your stuff for the whole
Oh
rest
yeah.
of their lives. Like, get them a beanie, get
Uh-huh.
them paint by number book.
Oh my gosh, how adorable. Just the whole photo shoot of a toddler like wearing and using the wearing
Love
my
it.
stuff with a pillow, painting the paint by number.
Dude, I'm already there. Afghan over the chair,
Yes.
wearing a mask. This is it. Forget about it. Love Faith Homemade. It's like you're like the Martha Stewart, but like way cooler. No offense, Martha. But yeah, I mean, how fun is that?
I love it. You're a genius. That's my next post.
Is that your next post? It would be like,
I'm just kidding.
no, but like in all seriousness, I do have to say that when it comes to creating something, and I love people, I do love humanity, and I have done so many outdoor markets and shows with my dolls. And here's the question that every single person has: what is it for?
Mm.
Like the general public, love you guys, but I mean, most people, like, if they don't know what it's for when it comes to art or craft or something that's like that you put your body and soul and mind into creating, like, yeah, that's interesting. What do I do with it? So the beauty of what you do is that it is like, I mean, can we call it functional art? Is that a thing? I don't know, but
Oh, I love that you
right,
said that. That's actually a big belief of mine in what I do is I want it to be super functional no
exactly,
matter what. Like when
exactly,
it comes to the masks, like I said, I want it to have an organic cotton liner because I don't want people to have allergies. I
right,
just think about every part of it because I want them to last forever and I want them to be able to use it. So,
exactly.
yarns that are suitable for a pillow because that pillow is going to get a lot of wear and tear. And I've gone through lots of designs where I used the wrong yarn and it looked like poop after a couple months,
Right.
So
You're like, I've tested this out.
I'm the same way though. I'm always looking for function in my art
Right,
and almost to a flaw. Like sometimes you got to do things just for fun, but I'm always like, what am I going to use this for? How is this useful?
right.
So yeah, I love that you said that. It's totally form and function are like equal in my designs for sure.
100%. And also, and we all have passions. Gosh knows we all do. But the fact is, like, if we want to monetize our passion, okay, and not just like make it for ourselves because it's spectacular, which is fine. Like some people do that their whole lives. They're like, I don't want to sell this, right? But if you're to the stage of the incubation, creation, connection, my three stages of creativity, if you're in the connection phase and you're ready to take your show on the road, this is the question that people have, right? It just is, and I think I've found that most people are very willing and supportive and excited about buying something if they understand the function and the purpose of it. So
Totally. Yeah.
you're in that perfect nexus of those. Yes. Okay. So if you were coaching another creative entrepreneur who is just getting started on this journey, what would you tell them?
I would tell them don't give up,
Okay.
just keep going
Yeah.
because I think that even I have given up on things in the past because I get this negative self talk. No one's going to buy it. No one's going to like it. There are people that are better than me doing the same thing. And one thing that definitely keeps me going is if you just keep doing it,
Mm.
you get better and you get more passionate about it, and then that exudes through your work and then other people will be excited about it and really just think it's so cool that you're doing it. You're just you doing it is like so cool to everyone around you and yourself. And there is that pride of like, yeah, I didn't give up. I kept doing it. And now I can look back at all the things I've done that I thought maybe weren't that great. But if I was looking back now, it's like, that's actually pretty cool. And I did that because I didn't give up.
Mm.
Just
Mm.
kept doing it. That's one of my biggest advice. It sounds very cliche, but that it's true. It's
That,
very
I
that.
mean, cliches are based in reality, and also, the way that I interpret what you're saying is like body of work, right? Like
Mhm.
acknowledge that you collectively and you individually have a body of work, right? And
Absolutely.
how powerful is that? Like you've given voice to your inner muse,
Yeah,
right?
it's
And this
invaluable.
it
It really
is.
is. you can't sit down and make years of work in one night. Like that took you years to make, and you can see your own growth throughout
Right.
it.
Right.
And now you have this culmination of all the trials and errors because you just kept doing it. And now you're here with all the wisdom that you wouldn't have if you stopped doing it.
Oh, this makes me so happy to hear you say this. And I love that you use the word exude. Which is a spectacular word. And it's true, right? It's like you're like exuding. I was actually working on my book this morning before our discussion, and I was just kind of, I love the thesaurus because I'm a word freak. And so I was like looking at all the different ways to refer to like your muse, right? So like intuition, inspiration, unconscious, drive, spirit, energy. And again, we could say it's cliche, but that famous quote, don't die with the music inside of you. It's true. I mean, if there's one
Totally.
takeaway that we've all kind of gotten to, here we are, 2 years into this or whatever, how many years, it's like time is precious. And
Yeah.
what we do with our day, what we do with our energy and our spirit is calling us, right? It's waking us up at night going, hello,
Yeah.
please give me a place to shine.
100%. Like you said in the beginning, if you do what you love, the money will follow. And like that has been such an awakening for me the last couple of years, because when I started crocheting, I never thought I'd make any money off it. I just
Yeah.
thought it'd be something people would make fun of me for, like I'm a grandma or whatever. But I just love doing it so much. I would like do it in the shadows, like at home in private. And now it's like I talk about it more and with confidence, and
Mm,
people love it. And I still have pieces from my grandma,
right.
and I do think about, when I pass on, I know my family is going to treasure the pieces I've made them. So
Mm,
one of my favorite gifts to give are homemade pieces to my family and friends.
mm. Love that. Are you gonna cry?
It was emotional. I do. And I just hope, that
Am I gonna cry?
that
It is emotional.
it's a, and I don't think it takes me passing for them to appreciate it, but there is just something so timeless about letting your art out into the world.
Yep.
And yeah, don't keep that to yourself. Definitely share it with the world.
Yes, and that like soul to soul connection, right? And it's
Totally.
like that's your unique voice and also legacy again, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it might feel weird to think about legacy, because like but at your age, but at my age, I do think about it a lot, actually. I think all of us are thinking about it now, again,
Yeah.
after what we've all been through collectively as a world. But that legacy is truly important, right? And how cool that the pieces that you're making are timeless, right? I mean, it's not like a flower arrangement, right? Which is also beautiful. But so can you show us as we merge towards our mark here a little bit? Can you show us a few more pieces just so people can get an idea?
Sure, I would love to. Um,
Okay.
might just take me a sec.
All right, we're going to walk around Faith's studio. This is Faith O'Connor. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're watching the Victoria Reeves Show with our very special guest today, crochet artist and entrepreneur Faith O'Connor. My God, look at this, you guys. Oh,
So this is called a herringbone pattern that
yes.
I fell in love with back when I was designing bags. I just loved the tight chevron. So I had to, with this piece, change color every row.
Right.
It's all single crochet, which means it's very tight and thick. So this piece took me a really long time to make. I remember I was like, is this ever going to end? And then I finally finished it and I was like, worth it. It's so gorgeous.
It
And
is.
the ends have like a tassel border on it.
On that side. Okay. So two sides are tassels and two sides
Yeah,
are shawns.
which is, I
Got it.
was trying something unique because usually tassels are on the top and bottom and these tassels are on the side.
Cool.
And I also at the time wanted to make something a little more masculine, I remember, because I was making a lot of girly things. And I was like, I want to make something for the guys. So I kind of landed on this. And it's also two-sided where this side's more maroon prominent and then this side is more cream prominent.
Gorgeous. And is that pretty warm?
It's, yeah, this one's very warm
Looks
because it's
warm.
very tight knit and it's thick. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Cool.
want it to be classy.
Can we see
These,
it? Can we see a beanie?
oh yeah.
Oh, do you want to show another Afghan? Sorry, it's okay.
This is a red beanie.
Oh
My
my
friend inspired me to make red beanies because she ordered one and then I made a bunch.
God, so
Everyone loves
cute.
the red because I'm always thinking, oh, what are people going to want? Black. So I made a bunch of black ones. But then once I got the red one out, everyone's like, I want a red one. It's like,
Red is
oh,
super cute.
that's cool. I'm cool with
Oh my
that.
God.
I'll show you one more thing. I know we have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go.
No, we're good.
Um, these I used to have in a shop in Santa Cruz, California. They're little baby swaddles so that the baby can be a mermaid. And then it comes with a little headband,
Oh my God.
of flowers.
So
And I have,
how high does it go on their body? Like to their
well,
chest?
when they're newborns, it'll go all the way up to their neck.
Oh my God.
And then as they grow, they can wear it like a skirt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've given these to friends where they've shown me pictures of their baby wearing it as a full-on swaddle and then wearing it as a skirt as they got older. And so I have so many photos, I just need to post them. And so I have 2 of these, and this yarn is discontinued, so I can't make these in this yarn anymore.
Wow. And I'm already like writing the copy in my mind, like have your baby be the star of the play group, you know? Like that is so
You are so good at marketing and work. I love it.
this is where my mind goes. But how cool, right? Because exactly, like that's spectacular. You're not going to see that on anyone else's baby.
Oh, and I should show you while I have you here. So this choker
Oh yeah, show
has,
us the poker.
has a fun backside.
Oh my
And
God.
that is what took me the longest to make on these, was sourcing these jewels and this slider piece because it's adjustable because everyone has a different size neck.
Exactly.
And you showed me that you can wear it in the front too.
I know. I know. And tell us what's at the end of the what are the little charms at the end?
One is a heart that has my logo on it. It says love, faith.
Yeah.
And then this one is like a boar tusk. So I wanted it to be like feminine and then kind of edgy.
I love it. It's like the yin and yang
Yeah.
of choker world. We got everything covered here. Okay, so if people are like, this stuff is so cool, we want to see the massive breadth of your work, which you do have many, many different pieces. Where can they go? How can they find you?
Okay, so the best place to see my whole body of work right now is Etsy.com, and my shop is Love Faith Homemade.
Right.
And if you go to Etsy, if you search Love Faith Homemade without any spaces, I think it'll take you there quicker.
Okay, without any spaces on Etsy. Okay.
Yeah, on
Okay.
Etsy. And then also I have on my Instagram, it's more of like my process and maybe some finished pieces and then some pieces that are like work in progress. And that is at Love Faith Homemade.
Okay, that's your Instagram, and you have a TikTok channel, right? Is that the right
Yes.
word? TikTok.
Yeah.
Tell me. Okay, and what's that called?
That is Love Faith 619.
619. So if we just Google Faith O'Connor, Love Faith Homemade, we're probably going to get
Yeah, I've
all the
tried
stuff.
this. So same thing. If you Google Love Faith Homemade with
Right.
no spaces,
Okay.
you hit me quicker.
100%. 100%. And our next mission, we'll talk about this later, is for you to start a YouTube channel, because it's
Yes.
my big discovery that I, have all these Victoria Reeves shows on my YouTube channel. And you know what? Like that gets the best population in terms of the Google hits because YouTube comes up very high on the top.
Okay.
So, video projects 2022.
Yes.
Try it, everyone. It's a great way to get your stuff out there. I mean, real talk, right? Because it's just about the algorithms and all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, you are spectacular. Any last words you'd like to share with our listening audience about anything?
Well, I just really want to thank you. You've become like a mentor to me, and I love our interactions, and thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Ah, absolutely, absolutely. And if you'd like more information about me and the work that I do, check me out at Vision Career Coaching. I do work with entrepreneurs, professionals, artists, people of all different stripes, even folks that are like, I don't know what I want to do. I think I'm going to start a foundation. Did that the other day. Super exciting. So if you're in transition and trying to figure out what's next, for sure, contact me. I am Victoria Reeves. And thank you, Faith, so much for being with us. You are wonderful. And we're just going to keep watching you grow and expand and smile.
Thanks. Thank
Ah.
you. Bye.
Bye. Ah.